The 2022 AL MVP race is one of the most heated debates I have seen probably in baseball history. There are so many people who think Aaron Judge should be the MVP. There are so many people who think Shohei Ohtani should be the MVP. But I think we can all agree there are some very bad takes floating around on the MVP race. And today we're going to be going over some of those and just laughing at them. There are some really bad takes and I just wanted to share them with you. I spent pretty much all day arguing with people on Twitter yesterday and I compiled this list. I got like 20 tabs open, so there's a lot to go through. Before we get into the video, don't forget to sign up at Thrive Fantasy with promo code NMR. Now that college football is back, the NFL season's back, and the MLB playoffs are coming up, check out Thrive Fantasy. You get a 100% deposit match when you use promo code NMR up to $100. You also get some free contest entries. $100 deposit gets you 4 free $20 contest entries, and a $10 deposit gets you 2 $20 contest entries into their daily fantasy contest where you can win a couple $1,000s in those. So highly recommend checking them out. Look it up at the link in my description. Without further ado, let's get into these horrible tweets. Okay, now before we talk about the tweets, I just want to give a little insight as to why I think Shohei Ohtani is the American League MVP, and I do agree it's close. I think Judge is having the caliber season it would take to dethrone Ohtani, having a normal season by his standards. But let's just take a look here. So this is the American League pitching leaders by anybody who has a minimum of 140 innings pitched. You can see Shohei Ohtani up here, 2.55 ERA, 2.85 expected ERA, 2.5 FIP, 4.6 wins above replacement if you like WAR. He has 12 strikeouts per 9. He is the only qualified pitcher in the American League with a 12 strikeouts per 9. His walks per 9 are great. Basically everything he does is elite, and being even a 12-8 record on a losing team like the Angels, that is extremely impressive, and I am just cannot believe how good of a pitcher he's been. In my opinion, a top 5 Cy Young candidate. Now when it comes to their offensive stats, as you can see, Aaron Judge is much better than Shohei Ohtani. I don't think anybody would argue with that. Judge has more stolen bases than him. He's been caught stealing less. He has more RBIs. He has a lot more home runs. He is hitting for a better average, better on base, better slugging. He is better offensively across the board. But just like there's the Cy Young Award, there is the Hank Aaron Award, which goes to the best offensive player in baseball, which Vladimir Guerrero Jr. won last year, and Aaron Judge will most likely win this year. Now, because of this difference in stats, I put out this little tweet yesterday, as you can see here. Shameless plug, NMR Sports 30. Go follow me on Twitter. We're closing in on 900 Twitter followers. But as you can see, Judge and Ohtani's offensive stats gap. Judge has a 0.045 better batting average. He has 23 more home runs, 35 more RBIs, and 213 OPS over Shohei Ohtani, while Ohtani has 24 more starts on the mound than Aaron Judge does, 141 innings pitched, a 2.55 ERA versus Judge's ERA, which is non-existent because he hasn't pitched an inning, and then 12 strikeouts per 9, which leads all of the American League. So in my opinion, I don't think this should be a hot take. I would rather take 24 starts, 141 innings pitched, 2.55 ERA, 12 strikeouts per 9 versus 23 home runs, hardly any batting average whatsoever, 35 RBIs, and a 213 OPS. That's just me. I'm not saying that these numbers are bad. This is a significant offensive gap. Judge is significantly better offensively than Shohei Ohtani is. I just think that this is more valuable than this. And then we get people who argue like this guy here. Where is it? This guy here. Now do their defensive stats. Okay, let's take a look at Aaron Judge's defensive stats. People have this thought in their mind that Aaron Judge is some elite defender when look at his numbers here. You can see here 2022 in the outfield, he has 1 defensive run saved. So 1 defensive run saved, and then I'm covering up outs above average here. As you can see, outs above average, he has 1 out above average. So he is a very average, a very slightly above average defender. He's not elite, he's not bad, he is an average center fielder and right fielder. He does have a pretty good arm, but he is an average center fielder and right fielder. Do not come at me saying he is an elite defender, a Gold Glove caliber defender. He is a good defender. I'm not saying he's a bad defender. He is not, he's no Kevin Kiermaier. He's no Mookie Betts. He's no Kyle Tucker. He's not an elite outfielder, but he's also not a bad outfielder. He is average in the outfield when it comes to defense. So because of that, I had to reply to this guy, and I'm like, Judge has 1 defensive run saved more than Ohtani. I don't think I need to. I didn't feel like I needed to include that in these statistical comparisons. All I'm saying is that Ohtani's pitching makes up for the gap that Judge has over Ohtani in hitting. Next up, we got this comment that says, "Go ahead, still need a team behind you to put up runs in order to win. Aaron Judge can literally and has beat teams by himself. Ohtani could never." What are you talking about? Shohei Ohtani has started 24 games, and he has won half of them. He has 12 wins as a pitcher with 34 home runs. Nobody else in baseball can affect the game more than Shohei Ohtani can on his start of the week. If Shohei Ohtani is starting a game and batting in the 3-hole like he often does, nobody has more of an impact on a game than Shohei Ohtani. I understand Aaron Judge could hit a grand slam in a 4-3 win. That's cool. But Shohei Ohtani can literally shut out a team and hit a solo home run, and he is the only contributor to that game. He is the only person. Like, I do not understand. This tweet, man, set me off. How can you think this? How can somebody actually think this? So I said, did you miss the month where the Angels only won in games Shohei Ohtani started? Baseball is a team sport, and the Yankees have one of the best bullpens and lineups in baseball, despite their offensive slump they're currently in. And the Angels are the worst lineup in baseball after the number 3 spot. After you get past Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, there is legitimately nothing. Our lineup is the worst in baseball. Our bullpen is one of the worst in all of baseball. It is absolutely... Like, Ohtani cannot make this team into a good team, while Aaron Judge's team around him is really good, and the MVP is an award for 1 player, not for 26. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know if this one is serious or it's satire, but it's absolutely hilarious, and I'm going to take it as if it's being serious, because it kind of looks like, Jacob Shibby. I could imagine Jacob Shibby, this guy right here. This feels like a legitimate account. I know most Yankees fans don't think this way, but this is absolutely hilarious. Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani, who's your pick for AL MVP? Unless Ohtani has a 0 ERA, the pitching doesn't make him more valuable than Judge. Shohei has a 2.55 ERA, which means that every 9 innings pitched, he's going to give up runs, which hurt the team. Rather have the guy who doesn't give up any runs ever. It hurts. It really hurts, man. I try so hard to not engage with people on Twitter when they say stupid shit like this, but at some point you have to. This is one that is not... There's a certain level you have to reach of baseball knowledge for me to interact with you. This tweet does not meet that threshold. I hope it's satire. I don't know if it is. I really hope that this account is a burner. It's like a fake account somebody's using to troll Ohtani fans like myself. But if this is a legitimate argument, I really hope this guy seeks help. And now we've reached John Heyman. John Heyman, the man who does not have a profile banner, and his profile picture looks like this. It is a picture of a TV screen that has been cropped poorly. That is John Heyman for you. 796,000 followers. Baseball columnist at the New York Post. Insider at MLB Network, Audacity Sports. Co-hosts the show podcast, Big Time Baseball, Old Reliable, MLB Now, Northwestern fan. So he is an East Coast beat writer for the New York Post, big Yankees fan himself, and let's just go through some of his posts. East Coast bias does not exist. If anything, there's a California bias. Anyway, no good reason exists for anyone but Aaron Judge to win MVP this year. How could anybody who considers themselves a baseball expert, a baseball writer, a baseball personality, think that there is no good reason for anyone but Aaron Judge to win MVP this year? Is he just blind? Does he not know who Shohei Ohtani is? Has he not watched baseball before? Does he not understand that Ohtani does 2 things at an elite level? Well, Aaron Judge does 1 thing at a super elite level. Like, I'm fine with you thinking Judge should be MVP. But if you legitimately think there is no reason for debate, you're clinically insane. You are clinically insane. I don't know. I get he's going for clickbait or something, but East Coast bias absolutely exists. 90% of baseball fans, it feels like, are Yankees fans. If you go down the street, and any street in America, you can be in a rural town in the middle of Mississippi, or you can be in the middle of LA, you are going to see Yankees hats. You are going to see Yankees fans. If you bring up Aaron Judge, everyone's going to know who it is. You very rarely, every once in a while, you see an Angels hat. I live in Florida. I see an Angels hat maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months. I see a Yankees hat every single day. I can go to the store right now, and I can tell you it would take me about 5 minutes to find somebody wearing a Yankees hat. East Coast bias exists. And living on the East Coast, you know how hard it is to watch an Angels game? Most of my friends are in bed by the time the Angels games come on. 10:30. I usually say goodnight to my girlfriend, and then I go watch the Angels game, because that's how late they play. Most people on the East Coast, they wake up and they're like, oh, Mike Trout hit a home run. Cool. Meanwhile, the Yankees game that starts at 7 p.m., they're like, oh my God, Aaron Judge, the best player in baseball. Meanwhile, Mike Trout's game doesn't start for another 3 hours. So there is absolutely an East Coast bias, especially from a guy like John Heyman, who works for the New York Post, which is where this article is written. But anyways, I posted this. Look in a mirror and you'll find the East Coast bias. Judge is the best offensive player in baseball. That's called the Hank Aaron Award. And Ohtani is one of the best pitchers and hitters in the game. That is the most valuable player. The most valuable player. And then we have more dumbass Yankees fans in the comments. If he's the best, what hitting stat does he lead in? It doesn't matter. He doesn't need to lead in anything as long as he is an elite pitcher, which he has been. There is no argument against him being an elite pitcher this year. And you can argue that he's not an elite hitter, but he's still an above average hitter. He's an elite power threat at the plate. He is a force to be reckoned with at the plate. You cannot argue that he's not at least well above average at the plate and elite on the mound, which in my opinion, that's all he really needs to do. Then we have Joe Fan retweeting this. This article is a remarkable shit Sunday. He claims there is no East Coast bias while simultaneously admitting to his own bias and trashing California/Californians. The irony is chef's kiss. Chef's kiss irony. You can see this quote from it, which you can't see on the screen right now, but I'll read it out loud to you. Every team city gets 2 votes for each award. That includes New York, the greatest city in the world. Sorry, couldn't resist. And also Anaheim, which isn't even really a city, but an endless playground of amusement parks and goofy-themed motels. This gives me vibes. I'm going to go full screen. This gives me vibes of like a kid. I feel like John Heyman's parents brought him to Disneyland as a kid. He saw Mickey Mouse and started crying and ran away and was scarred for life. He's just scared of cartoon characters and costumes. He didn't like Space Mountain. He peed his pants on the Matterhorn or something. Some traumatic experience must have happened at Disneyland as a kid. And I think he's like 60 years old or something. So it might have been like, if you haven't seen old Disney costumes, they were pretty scary. So I'll give him some, some wiggle room there. If he hasn't been to Disneyland in the last 50 years, I could understand why he'd be scared of those costume characters. But, oh my God, you're really going to disrespect an entire city? Like, Anaheim is a beautiful city. If you've never been there, I spent a lot of time there. I used to work at Disneyland. I know very well the Anaheim area. Angel Stadium, maybe not the best stadium in the world. I'll definitely give you that. It's probably a bottom 10 stadium in the MLB. But Anaheim's beautiful. Disneyland's beautiful. They have a great shopping and dining district there. There's Old Town in Orange. That's a beautiful spot to be. It's close to the beach. It is beautiful. The weather is unbeatable. The weather is much better than New York out there. So it is a beautiful place. And there's no reason to go to name calling. I'm an Angels fan. I think Shohei Ohtani is the MVP. I love Aaron Judge. I think he's a great player. I also love the city of New York. I'm not going to shit on New York. I'm not going to pretend I don't like New York just because I don't want Aaron Judge to win the MVP. And honestly, I kind of do want Aaron Judge to win the MVP. He's not the most valuable player, but if he wins the MVP, good for him. He got robbed in 2017. He deserves a MVP award, just not this year because Ohtani is more valuable than him. So anyways, John Heyman tries to defend himself. There's no bias in the process. Look at the facts. Angels have 4 MVPs. Mets none ever. Read more carefully. The Angels having 4 MVP winners doesn't mean East Coast bias doesn't exist. That's not some magical correlation. You can't claim it doesn't exist while trashing the West Coast. Your column adds a gross toxicity to the MVP conversation, one with 2 worthy players. Write more carefully. Yeah, honestly, it's just... Like, I don't have a problem with the MVP conversation. You can have your opinion, I can have my opinion. But why are you shitting on a city? Like, what point do you have on talking crap on Anaheim as a whole? And all these players that live in Anaheim, all these writers that write in Anaheim. Like, what problem? Like, why are you taking a shot at an entire city over a guy who you think personally should win the MVP, even though I disagree, and a lot of people disagree with that as well. And then just a couple more tweets. I know this video is going a little bit long here. I'm kind of getting on long rants here, but he says, oh my god, this one was so good. So he said, read better, please. Because in response to the message I just read, read better, please. And Angels Reddit says, write better, please. 119 likes. So not only did he ratio him, and just look at the response to this, man. He said, read better, please. Got 10 likes, and just look at all of these comments, bro. Look at all of these comments, man. The city of Anaheim really showing out. John Heyman might be the most hated man in Southern California right now. And then Trent Rush chimes in. He's another guy who works for the Angels. No, keep insulting my hometown. I guess as a New Yorker, I'm more used to folks insulting my town. I forget folks from other towns don't hear as many insults. Not everyone loves the same places. I do love most of California. Doesn't seem like that to me, man. And then Trent Rush says, it's okay. This was my view 2 days ago. 20-minute drive. We have the best weather in America. Really not worth getting upset. We don't have nearly as much to be angry about. And then John Heyman tries to be passive-aggressive, says, right, not worth getting upset. I guess I'm used to it since half the country doesn't like New York. Who doesn't like New York? New York's a beautiful city. Like, I have never heard somebody shit on New York. I've heard a lot of people shit on LA, and rightfully so, because LA is a terrible city. You can make fun of LA all you want. LA is really bad. It's really trashy. If you've never been there, don't recommend it. Probably go to New York if you're going to plan a trip. But I just don't get it, man. That doesn't look like Anaheim to me, by the way. No offense, with a smiley face. What a smug piece of shit, bro. And then one last guy to go over. Jeff Fletcher chimes in a little bit. We have this terrible conversation going on here. So it starts off good. Ohtani has more wins than any Yankee pitcher and more home runs than any Yankee except for Judge. That's literally all you need to know. And then someone says, okay, my question is this. If the Angels didn't have Ohtani, they would only have, 50 wins as opposed to 65 wins. So, that's just a stupid argument. What a dumbass argument. Anyways, Judge may be more valuable than Ohtani, but this question is not the right one. That means if the rest of the Yankees hadn't tanked, they won the division by 20 games, he would be less valuable. And here comes John Heyman, man, once again. While it's more impressive, he has actually played even better in a lineup severely worsened via injury. I wouldn't think it fair to hold it against him if they had kept on that pace and won the division by 20-plus games. I could see that, though, occurring to folks, though. And Jeff Fletcher, as you should, you're right. It's not fair to hold the performance of a player's team against him. He literally just made an argument for Ohtani why he should be MVP and disguised it as a Judge one. Like, it's so close to clicking in here, and it just doesn't. Anyways, I really hope this video isn't as... I think I've been recording for almost a half an hour now, so I'm going to try to cut it down, make it not that long for you guys, but I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. I will have some more MLB content out to you guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, if you're as mad about this as I am, but... My God, dude, just keep it civilized. That's all I ask. Just keep it civilized. Let's talk about baseball, not about which city is the best. Who cares? Oh my God, I hate it. Anyways, sign up at Thrive Fantasy. Use promo code NMR. Check them out at the description. I'll be live tomorrow afternoon at 12 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Eastern, whenever that is, and talk some football betting lines and whatnot. So I appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe for more daily MLB and NFL content. Like the video. Help it reach more baseball fans. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.